So what are the benefits of driving or even buying the new Toyota Prius? And I'm talking about the redesign, 2023 and up at this point. The 2024s are out, of course. There are 5 reasons, really 6, I guess, benefits, I think, to having the new Toyota Prius. Number 1, of course, has to be fuel economy. I mean, when you're used to driving gas guzzling vehicles like I am, trucks, Jeeps, stuff like that, it's kind of refreshing when I jump in this new Prius, get home, and if you didn't know, when you turn the car off, up in the left-hand part of the screen, it'll give you a little readout as to what kind of fuel economy you got and some other information. I'm always somewhere right around 50 to 52, 53 miles per gallon, something like that. Now, that is a far cry from the 14 or 17 that I'm getting in my other vehicles. The gas gauge hardly ever moves in here. And you know, one of the fears that I've had about driving the Prius is not driving it enough and not using the gasoline up before it goes bad. You know, you don't want to leave gas sit forever because it will turn into varnish, right? And then it gets bad and you'll have other problems, clogged fuel injectors, a number of things. So I love that it gets great fuel economy, but sometimes that worries me. Number 2, the drivability of it, the fun factor, I guess, which we're going to get to that at the end. But the drivability of this car, I mean, it's just awesome. It's fun to drive, it's quick, it handles well, and it's a blast. You know, I'm always torn. I've got a Jeep Wrangler, a Toyota Tacoma, and of course this car. And I'm always torn as to which one to drive because this car is so fun to drive. You get out here, and if you find some curvy roads and stuff, flip it over into sport mode. That's right, there is a sport mode in the Toyota Prius. I did a video not long ago about the 4 different modes in this car. Sport mode is awesome. It kind of tightens everything up a bit, and it's noticeable. You can feel it, particularly in the steering. It feels like you're driving a sports car. I tell you, Toyota just did such an amazing job with this car. It is something. It is very drivable. Number 3, the style and looks of the car. You know, sometimes after you get a new car, yeah, you get used to it. You start to not appreciate it anymore for what it is, right? Not so with this car. I mean, everything from the interior to the exterior is just awesome. The car looks fantastic on the outside. I always have to turn around and look at this car every time I take it somewhere and leave it parked because it looks so good. The interior, same thing. You've got all this different kind of tech in here from what other, I guess I'll call normal cars are. You know, they have screens and all that stuff, of course, and shiny bright lights, but Toyota just did it differently in here. Everything looks modern and futuristic. The screens are crisp and clear. So far, I haven't noticed any scratching or anything like that on any of the screens I have, which is not typical. If you've got or ever had a Toyota Tacoma, for instance, then you know those screens, particularly the gauge cluster, scratches up very easily. You know, we basically have an LED screen in here now. It's a different kind of glass. It's not that plastic stuff like you get with the gauge cluster in, say, the Tacoma. No scratches, no fingerprints. Again, they've just done such a fantastic job. If I had anything to complain about when it comes to the screens in the Prius, it's probably that they look a little dusty when you turn them off. But who cares? I'm not driving around with the screens off while I'm running the car, right? Just awesome. Number 4 is comfort. Comfort and view. We have to talk about view because the Prius gets, I think, a little bit of a bad reputation when it comes to view. There's been a lot of talking heads out there that have commented about the view in the Prius. You can't see. You have to have the digital mirror so that you can see out of the back of it. I disagree. While it's not like a Jeep Wrangler, for instance, I mean, it's not a cube on wheels with glass all around you. You certainly can see well out of here. I don't have any issues. I'll tell you a little secret. You know, one of the big things that I wanted, in addition to the bigger screen, the infotainment screen, was the digital mirror. I paid for something that I rarely use. You know, if I do turn it on, it's probably just kind of as a gimmick thing. I want to see what it looks like, but I don't use it normally for driving. I use just the regular mirror. And by the way, if you didn't know, it operates by flipping the little lever underneath, much like you used to do with the old manual dimming mirrors. You know, you'd have somebody behind you and you'd flip the little lever under there to change the angle of the mirror to dim the lights behind you. It works the same way. When you have that lever pushed all the way up, it's just a regular mirror. I will say it might be a little bit darker though. Of course, I have tint on the back, so that could be part of the reason, but nonetheless, I think you still do get a little bit of a darker view. Out of the sides of the car, I really don't know what people are talking about. I don't have any problems ever seeing out of the sides of the car in this little window that Toyota put right by the A pillar in the front. I don't have any issues with that because of that little window there. It lets me see out of the front and everything is visible. Now, one might argue that the pillars in the back there in the corner, does block some of the view, and it does. But you're going to get that in any vehicle that you're in. Unless you're driving around in a convertible, you're going to have blockage by those pillars in the back. Not enough to cause a problem, and I guess if you really need it, you just flip on the digital mirror if you went ahead and ponied up for that option. Number 5, it fits. It fits everywhere. I love that. It makes it a little bit less stressful in parking lots and in tight areas, like if you're going down a tight road or maybe a construction zone, which seems to be everywhere these days, or if you just need to park in your garage. It takes up so little space. I think in my 2-car garage, which is really about a 2 1/4, I think, size-wise, I could probably fit 3 Priuses, or Prii, 3 Priuses in there, no problem, because they are such a fantastic size. Lastly, I'm going to throw in a bonus, something that I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's just fun. It's fun to drive because of the power, the size, the comfort, the fuel economy. You know, you never have to feel guilty about running around taking a joyride, right? Because you're not burning a ton of gas. It's not like it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to take that Sunday drive. Or like me, if you're out making YouTube videos, you don't have to keep your eye on the gas gauge because most likely it's not going to move. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here. Maybe you're on the fence, you're considering the Prius or some others. Those are a few benefits of buying or driving a Toyota Prius. I think it's just awesome. Leave a comment. Let me know if you have one. Maybe you just got one recently. What do you think of it? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.